Chinatown is any city or district outside of China with a predominantly Chinese population. When people think of Chinatown, they usually think of the big ones, like in New York or San Francisco. But they usually forget about the one in Houston, so we decided to check it out. The first businesses in Houston's Chinatown opened up in the 1980s as increasing numbers of Chinese immigrants began to move into Houston. In the 1990s, businesses began to expand, especially restaurants, which became a defining aspect of Chinatown. Because we're mostly exposed to Americanized Chinese food, we decided to explore an authentic Chinese cuisine in Houston in order to inform the public about Chinese culture. Although sources of Chinese culture, such as restaurants in Chinatown, are easily accessible, most people don't take the time to come down and explore because they are unaware that they have a limited knowledge on the subject. The restaurant that we decided to explore was the Mala Sichuan Bistro, which notably serves authentic Mala food from the Sichuan province in China.
Mala Sichuan Bistro opened in 2011 and proposed a menu that celebrates the distinct flavor of the Sichuan peppercorn. Mala describes the numbing sensation that this unique spice gives to Sichuan cuisine of China. At the restaurant, we decided to try dan dan noodles, mapo tofu, spicy crispy chicken, spinach sautéed with garlic, and red oil dumplings.
The food at the restaurant, along with the interviews that we conducted, demonstrated to us that authentic Chinese cuisine is different from typical Americanized Chinese food we are exposed to. Authentic cuisine in Chinatown is different through the uses of spices from indigenous regions in China, its lower amounts of salt and oil, its steaming and stir-fried foods as opposed to frying foods, and its greater diversity in meats and vegetables. Now let's take a look at some of the interviews we got with our customers.
找到的中国菜跟那个在美国现在很多人觉得中国菜的那个印象有什么不同？
像大部分在就是美国的中国菜they are not authentic. Sometimes, not always authentic. So sometimes it's different. It's not really exactly the same.
What specific differences do you see?
For example, the spice they use, probably they are not directly imported from China. So in that case, the taste is not exactly the same. Alright, so that's why I would say sometimes it's not authentic.
Okay, so what is different about the food here in Chinatown in comparison to the food you usually see American people eat as Chinese?
Usually American food is a bit more sweet and oily, so...
what is your favorite dish?
The spicy tofu.
And what makes that authentic Chinese food?
I guess because of the taste mostly, it's I don't know, it's like more spicy and more juicy.
How would you describe the mala sauce they use? What does it do to your
To my tongue?
Yeah.
Stings, numbs a little bit.
And that's not something you would usually find in American food.
No.
It's a special kind of Chinese sauce that they use in the Sichuan area.
Me?
Yeah.
Just in general? When
Long time
36 years ago. When I was a
Really?
baby, yeah.
What do you consider authentic food versus like Americanized Chinese food?
I would consider this, and this is my favorite restaurant. I'm not sure if it is, but that's what I would consider. The little I know, so Mala I would say would be
Yeah.
more authentic, and then everywhere else I go is probably less.
Yeah. What would you say is like different between authentic food and like Americanized food?
You know, I would say there's probably crossover.
Excuse me, sir. Is this your name?
No, that's my name.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Alright. Sorry. What was the question again?
What would you consider like differences between like authentic food and American food?
I think that there's a crossover of 7 or 8 dishes from a more authentic restaurant to a more Americanized restaurant, and those seem relatively similar. And then once you get into using different, I've seen like they use cuttlefish already dishes here. Well, they wouldn't normally have a cuttlefish dish over in a more Americanized restaurant. They're going to use chicken, beef, pork, shrimp, and that's going to be, and they're going to cycle around that. And here they're going to play off of different. I'm trying to think of an example that I saw in here, but they've got all kinds of different sort of core food. Tilapia doesn't really cross over. Like they use tilapia in tons of things here, while they may have 1 or 2 dishes. From what I know.
Would you say you enjoy like authentic food better or Americanized food?
Well, I like authentic food better because it's a little more fun for us to, you can kind of get, I don't want to name any names of restaurants, but there's a whole bunch of restaurants that are all pretty much the same stuff. So it's more fun to go something a little different, and it's the same kind of type of flavor, to start, but then it just feels like you're doing something a little bit different. It's easy to go to a Chinese food restaurant anywhere in Houston, but to come here, you got to do a little work to get here, but when you're there, it's a lot of fun. We come all the time. With friends and with the kids.
In light of these interviews and our experiences in Chinatown, we now have aided ourselves with a better understanding of Chinese culture through a clearer perception of the likes of Chinese cuisine. For the public to better acquaint itself with Chinese cuisine, people should come down and explore Chinatown like we did.
Okay, so how often do you come to Chinatown?
3 times, 4 times a week.
Would you say you enjoy the food here? Oh, you don't? What would you consider what's the difference between authentic food and Americanized Chinese food?
No idea, I don't eat Chinese food, to be honest.
Do you eat like Panda Express or Pei Wei? Like ever? Do you just come here for like the tapioca?
Not even the tapioca, just the coffee and stuff. This is the worst interview ever.
It's okay. So you only drink like coffee out of these tapioca shops? Are you like aware of authentic Chinese food? Like, could you tell the difference? Like, would you say Panda Express is authentic?
Never tried it.
The interview we conducted with this man demonstrates how even though someone can go to Chinatown 3 to 4 times a week, they still don't understand its significance and history. The congregation of Asian populations in Chinatown has created a natural barrier that has prevented the spread of authentic Chinese culture.
Additionally, the immediate availability we have to what we know as sources of Chinese culture, we all haven't taken much time to explore this part of our city. Thus, Stephanie and I decided to show you a defining aspect of Chinatown. It's cuisine that still remains authentic due to the efforts of immigrant families to retain a part of their cultures and
내 사랑한 SPY 그녀를 쫓아 day and night 샤프트 잡히지 않아 그림자처럼 붙지만 내가 사랑한 SPY 그녀를 쫓아 day and night 스미터 끝까지 차와 그녀를 겨눈 그 순간 I got you in a runaway I got you in a runaway I got you in a runaway
Lab test tomorrow? It's a long world.
일생일 때 스릴 돋는 스토리가 지금부터 하이라이트 막 달릴 거야 쭉 내 눈으로 꺾은 핸들 그게 답일걸